Welcome back, Arbor League, and today we're going to be taking a look at level 50 Gardevoir in the Master League. Gardevoir is a very uncommon pick due to getting outclassed by Zacian, Xerneas, and in some case of Charmers, Sylveon and Togekiss. However, last season of Timeless Travels, it received a new move, Triple Axel, and despite the stats, I was able to pull off some awesome wins. So smash that like button, turn notifications on, and let's take a look at some battles with level 50 Gardevoir in the Master League. So today I'm going to show you how I build a team. I had Gardevoir sitting in the ranks using it as either a raid counter or mega bonus, but I decided to try it out in PvP with the new move Triple Axel and see how viable it is. So we are going with the standard recommended moveset by PV Poke, Charm, Triple Axel, Shadow Ball, and we're going to take a look at some of these key wins and key losses. So these wins, obviously we win up against most of the dragons, and surprisingly Zacian here, despite it being outclassed by other fairies, which we will take a look at in a minute. And then for our key losses in generic sense that we will most likely be seeing, Mewtwo, Kyogre, and Giratina Origin, despite it being a dragon. Gardevoir is part psychic, so it will take super effective to that ghost moves, so that's not a good matchup for Gardevoir. And then we've got Therian, Landorus, and Dialga. So getting more in depth over here, we're going to take a look at some of these weaknesses first. So obviously, because it is a Charmer and a Fairy type, we do have a lot of weakness to Fire and Steel. So Melmetal here, even without Iron Bash, those Rock Slides will still add up. Solgaleo, the Steel type, even though it's Psychic, we've got Shadow Ball. The Charms take way too long to get to. The Ho-Ho, obviously the Fire resisting the Charm damage. Metagross, Hard Loss. Snorlax with the super effective Licks and the Body Slams. And then with Groudon, Excadrill, Mewtwo, you're going to see a pattern here. A lot of Pokemon that are very spammy, right? So those double Iron Bash or those Rock Slides come out pretty quick. Those Psychic Fangs, the Body Slams, the Fire Punches, the Drill Runs, the Psy Strikes, very spammy moves. Gardevoir is kind of glassy, so it has to shield absolutely everything, even these For Gardevoir, the spammy moves are hard-hitting, but even these hard-hitting neutral moves, like Earthquake, Brave Bird, Meteor Mash can be super effective, but Precipice Blades, Rock Slide, Drill Run, Gardevoir wants nothing to do with this. Scroll down here, we've got Rhyperior, Kyogre, obviously Lugia has neutral charge moves here with Sky Attack and Aeroblast, despite it being a Dragon Tailer. And it is very bulky, so it outbulks Gardevoir here. Even some Ursaluna, Giratina Origin, Togekiss, Mewtwo, Mamoswine, Swampert, and Landorus, and Sylveon. Dialga moves could go either way, even with the Origin. Dialga is Dragon and Steel, so those Charms will do neutral damage. The Iron Heads we have to watch out for that are super effective. But again, depending on shields, those matches could go either way. Now we are getting into the good matchups. We're going to see that we beat a lot of the dragons here, right? Even Zygarde. Those crunches are neutral as Gardevoir is part psychic, but we resist the Dragon Tail, and Zygarde is pretty bulky again, but those charms will just add up, right? All these dragons, Palkia Origin, all those dragons that just came out, right? Charmers are great. Yveltal. Why is Yveltal on here? Oh, okay, so Focus Blast and Oblivion Wing. So if it has a different move, it lists it twice. Zarude, obviously, Zacian, Xerneas. So that's kind of where it starts going downhill here, which is kind of weird. Zarude, right, has a low rating, but it's because of that neutral damage, right? Vine Whip charges extremely quickly. Power Whip, Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse is neutral, again, because of Gardevoir's Psychic type. So yeah, these kind of spammy move sets, you know, Zacian here, again, could go either way. Those wild charges, if the Zacian is carrying Play Rough, it could go pretty bad too, because then you don't have to debuff yourself and you can still get to those Play Roughs pretty quickly. But yeah, Gyarados could go either way unless it is running Waterfall. So hopping over here, we're going to take a look at Gardevoir versus Togekiss. So two Charmers, relatively same kind of use, but Togekiss is flying and Gardevoir is psychic. So right off the bat, we see the attack, 211 versus 201. So Gardevoir off to a good start, you know, more attack weighted. But then it goes downhill real quick. As we can see, the defense stat is 176 to 194. And again with the stamina, 154 to 178. So despite Gardevoir having a high attack stat, it just gets out-bulked. So we're going to scroll down here and do a sim battle just to see the difference in charm damage. So as we can see here, charms happen at the same time, right? So you can throw at any time, but generally when you throw, they get an extra charm in, so sometimes PvPoke doesn't account for that. But if the charms are on par, right, so we have to scroll up a little bit to see this health bar here. Gardevoir is on the top and Togekiss is on the bottom. So our charm damage is doing 13, while their charm damage is doing 14. So, you know, by the time we scroll over to here, come on, computer. So by the time we scroll over to here, right, we can see that our health is going down progressively more than the Togekiss's, because they have significantly higher HP and defense than we do. So even if it's just a straight charm battle, we don't have to throw or anything. Just we lose straight up going straight charm both of these Pokemon. And that's another thing that we have on our side, right, is that the Togekiss has Ancient Power. That has a potential to get the boost. It doesn't have to, but our Triple Axel, again, super effective against the flying, and it's a 100% boost. So in a scenario like this, where both charge moves are thrown, I usually not throw mine. I mean, it's Triple Axel, so the charms are, the Triple Axel is a guaranteed attack boost, so it makes our charms do more. So that could flip this matchup here, and if they throw and don't get the boost, then we can sneak that charm through, right? Then we don't throw, and we could hopefully charm down and be one charm ahead of them and hopefully catch up to their damage. It is a soft loss here. So I guess you take that into account as to the team read. If you know what's in the back, if you're okay soft losing that match, then you could potentially get some farm for your other Pokemon that's in the back. Next Pokemon we're going to compare it to is Sylveon. Is that the two of the more common charmers that you see in Master League? You don't see Primarinas that often, although it is kind of a spice pick. The steel moves do neutral damage to it. We can see is sort of the same story here, right? Like we're just the attack, 211 to 183, so we have a way higher attack. We're going to win CMP here. So that's also a good piece of advice. If you win CMP, then you could still get a charm through, you know, and let them throw. That way, if you're behind on energy, you can catch up. But the defense, 176 to 184, 154 to 194. So again, our charms do way more damage, but we are also taking way more damage. So scrolling down here, we can see it's the same kind of story. We are deep in the red here while they're still in the yellow. And even when we get to the very end, it does become a soft loss. So scrolling down here, we see it has a battle rating of 461, which is not the greatest. It's just under average, with 12 wins and 26 losses. So going back to the weaknesses here, we have to see like what Pokemon beat a lot of these weaknesses. So I'm seeing a lot of steel, fire, ground, and to me that tells me water. So I don't have too many water Pokemon built, and the only ones that I have built, I don't have Kyogre. I don't have a lot of legendaries, XLs. I have maybe like some Palkias close to 40, but the only couple water Pokemon that I do have are the ones that you've seen me use so far. So we're just going to attach Gardevoir to Gyarados and Melmetal here. So we're going to go into Team Builder. And like Heatran, Melmetal, a lot of these fire, steel, ground, right? So water is a good response if you have a charmer on the team. So we're going to go here to Master League, add a Pokemon. Gardevoir is the one that we want to use. That standard moveset. Rate this team. We have Gyarados. And this time we actually have Dragon Tail. We still have Dragon Tail. We don't have Dragon Breath. And it's just been a legacy on. I put it on my Master League Gyarados. I kind of don't want to take it off because it's already been Elite TM'd already. So we're still going to go with Swampert here. And I thought this was kind of funny that in Master League it's suggesting Muddy Water as a charge move. But we're still going Earthquake here because you still need that ground coverage for, again, the steals like Dialga, Melmetal, Metagross, etc. And it's not too bad. We do have C for coverage, but it is an ABB team. We've got B for bulk. Gyarados is all right. Again, it's Master League, so things aren't, you know, the bulkiest. But we've got the next best thing. Then in safety, we've got a C. Again, it's an ABB team, but at least we've got an A for consistency here. So I'll show you later on in the battles what our plans are for these weaknesses here. But again, you want this kind of pattern, the XXO, the OOX. You just don't want to see 3 straight O's. But here with the Giratina altered, again, the altered I haven't seen too many in Master League. I have come across a couple. The Shadow Claws do add up, but because you only are stuck with Dragon Claw and not like Omnis Wind, Shadow Ball, it is possible to get by with Gardevoir, and I have Dragon Tail on Gyarados here. So Giratina altered here is not too much of an issue. And again, because it is an ABB team, you don't want to see... you have to get the correct alignment. Zarude could be a little scary again, right? Because we have water on the team, but we do have charm on Gardevoir. However, Gardevoir does lose to Zarude, as we saw earlier, just because of the spammy neutral damage, right? So those Vine Whips, those Power Whips, will add up eventually. But that looks pretty good. We haven't seen too many Zarudes in the meta, and the rest of these are pretty common picks. So at least this team looks like it is pretty consistent against the current meta. So let's take a look at some battles that we had. There's a couple 4-1 sets here. This is an ABB team. Weak to Steel and Fire in the lead, protecting it in the back, up against a Groudon for the first match. So we immediately swap into Swampert, and we're met with a Kyogre. This match is not great because these waterfalls are neutral to Swampert because of the ground type. But you go straight Earthquake here because it lands. Because if they don't shield, which they won't because Kyogre is pretty bulky, that landing a resisted Hydro Cannon could go south really quickly. But now they're in a range where a Hydro Cannon might threaten, so we do get a shield there. So I will shield this Surf up. But this Kyogre actually goes for the Thunder, so they waste a bunch of energy. If you're the Kyogre in this match, it's best to go straight Surf because they are neutral. Swampert will get to the Earthquake here, almost KOing the Kyogre, but 2 Mudshots take it down and we win switch in the ones. Also able to get off a Hydro Cannon here as we go down. Always great to get some chip damage off. That Groudon does not want to see a Hydro Cannon, so we're going to have to come in with Gyarados here because Gyarados is the hard wall to Groudon. The ground and fire moves are resisted, and they come in with the Melmetal, and not great because we don't have a response to that other than Gyarados here. So all we can do is throw these neutral crunches at the Melmetal, and we get the debuff. It also appears that the opponent has stopped or lagged, so Gyarados can take a Rock Slide here, not very well. So we will have to show the next one up, but because they lagged, we do get to this crunch here. So this will probably get a shield from the Melmetal as their defense has dropped. But trying to get to that Aqua Tail, and we win CMP. So this most likely will take out the Melmetal as it is neutral damage. And we just come in with the Gardevoir to shield this up and charm down. So the Groudon will not make another move. They actually full send an Earthquake. They're not having Precipice Blades, but we get the charm down and take game 1. So looking pretty good here. Gardevoir up against an XL Best Buddy Conkeldurr. Sorry, very nice. We're going to hit with super effective bullet punches, so we're going to retreat into one of our waters here, both resisting all the steel moves. You could go either or in this match, as all the damage is resisted, but the Earthquake is also resisted. Again, if you're the Metagross in this match, it's best to go straight Meteor Mash. I know it's resisted, but the Earthquake is not stab. And the Meteor Masters you get to a lot quicker, so we're going to get hit with a super effective Crunch. One more Dragon Tail takes out the Metagross, and we're met with a Togekiss. So this is, again, I don't know why I'm throwing the Crunch here, but we're going for a debuff, and we get it for whatever reason. So this next Aqua Tail will be doing a little bit more damage than it usually does here. We could have gone straight Aqua Tail and getting 2 of them off, but we got 2 moves off either way. So, and we also have 2 shields. So we still want to keep alignment, that Gardevoir on the Conkeldurr. So we're going to come in with that Swampert and just start spamming these Hydros off. They do get to a move first, but none of this is going to KO. I'm banking on it just being the Ancient Power, but they actually go Aura Sphere. So because it was a CMP tie that we lose, we still get that Hydro Cannon off, and that Togekiss will go down if they shield. But they come in with the Conkeldurr and forget that there's a Gardevoir in the front and concede the match. Up against our next match here, up against Bend It Like Borat. Didn't notice that before, we just thought the name was kind of funny. We're up against a Kyogre here. So my plan for this is to catch a Surf on one of our water types, most likely Gyarados here. So we count to 5, but the opponent continues to farm, and this is getting scary because they're building up to a Thunder and retreat with that massive amount of energy. Good thing, though, is that they come in with the Dialga, so we do get that Crunch and the defense drop. So you would not win this match if it was Waterfall, but we have Dragon Tail instead, and they are neutral because of the Dragon type. So they will shield up this Aqua Tail bait, which is amazing. And I know the Iron Head is resisted, but we will have to shield up. I don't think they're going to make 2 more moves, and we can farm down. We actually leave with a Crunch and survive on just a little HP here. So we're going to actually Crunch whatever comes in and hope for the defense drop. We actually survive a Waterfall as well. Gyarados able to get the Crunch and a shield from the Kyogre, and we get the defense drop. So I'm totally okay coming in here with Gardevoir. We just have to shield up a Surf. The problem here is that they were treated with a massive amount of energy, so they actually get 1 more move off here. Just Gardevoir is pretty glassy. Can we survive a Surf? Yes, we do. And we still get Waterfall down, unfortunately. So shields are down, and we're met with a Togekiss. So this is kind of scary here, as if they do get to a Aura Sphere, if that is their move, this could get pretty dicey. But Ancient Power, Flamethrower resisted. First Hydro Cannon chipping away. Try to throw on good timing. After the charge move event, we won and throw. So this next Hydro Cannon will not be KOing the Togekiss, and they're out of moves. So we just, time of truth, have to see what it is. And it's just the Ancient Power. So we get that next Hydro Cannon off, and there's no catch. So that Kyogre is pretty low. We throw the Hydro Cannon, take out the Togekiss, and 1 more Mud Shot. 2 more Mud Shot takes out the Kyogre. So hopping into the next match here, we're on a roll up against the Gyarados. Best buddy, pretty good lead. We resist everything. The Aqua Tails do chip a little bit, but at least they're running Dragon Breath and not Waterfall, so we can let this first Aqua Tail go through. Gyarados actually goes for the neutral Crunch as well, and they retreat into the Swampert. So I could have thrown the Triple Axel there just for a bait, but we've got Gyarados a hard wall to Swampert. Again, ground water versus a water flying. They've got nothing that can hurt us. But Gyarados is not the tankiest, so probably about like 5 Hydro Cannons you might have to actually start shielding here. So you see 2 coming through. We actually might have to shield the 4th one here. So we're going to throw an Aqua Tail here. We can't fast move all the way down. So the Aqua Tail, and it does KO the Swampert. We're met with that Melmetal again. So the Melmetal is a pesky nuisance for our team, as Gyarados is not a hard counter to it. But usually with, say, for example, Melmetal leads, it's usually Dragon double Steel or Steel double Dragon. So they will retreat if they see our Gardevoir, but if they have Melmetal on the lead, we can just come in with Gyarados and go down, then come in with Swampert. If they retreat, then we can just take care of the Dragon backline with Gardevoir. And realistically, either or works. Gyarados can handle the Dragons as well. It's just Gardevoir, being the fairy, does resist that Dragon damage. So that's why Gyarados is a good either safe swap or lead, as he can either lure something out that he can win in, or hard counter something in the front that you can take care of and RPS the back with. So this Gyarados comes back in here, and we do have to shield up that Aqua Tail, and we're down a shield now. So this is getting pretty scary, but we're able to charm down and still have that shield. So we're going to throw a Shadow Ball, try to boost the charm damage, but because we're not going to make another move, just go for that hard-hitting move. Try to get to the next triple axel, and we do, so that opponent is getting greedy. This triple axel actually warrants the section shield from the Melmetal. They forgot that we have a Swampert in the back, so we just have to hope that we survive a Rock Slide. So we're going to shield that up just in case it was a CMP tie. So the Rock Slide comes through and we get the Hydro Cannon off and the game is ours. So we don't even have to charge this one. Swampert will be closing for us, taking care of that Melmetal. Up against our next opponent, we are faced with the Melmetal lead. So again, these are kind of like Dragon leads. We go straight into Gyarados. And we're just going to go down. I mean, they're going to throw the Rock Slide. We survive one, but they're going to throw another one, and we'll just go down. Try to get that crunch off, at least go for a debuff, but they actually retreat into a Giratina. So this is just as good. We can go for that super effective crunch up against the Giratina, and we get the debuff. So I'm thinking here, should I shield? Because I know Gardevoir is a losing matchup here, but we could get shield or switch here with Gyarados. The Shadow Claw is just tearing through Gyarados. This is actually okay with me double shielding here. I was seeing how much damage the Shadow Claws weren't doing. Totally okay farming down after the debuff and leaving with a massive amount of energy. Because we hard win the front with Swampert, I'm okay with going 2 shields down as long as we're winning switch. Getting that crunch off, no debuff, totally okay with me. We do get Melmetal into a health range where like Hydro Cannons will be threatening, as 2 or 3 superpowers do get threatening after a while. I know the first one is going to hurt because we're shields down here, so they will go straight superpower, but because they lower their attack, will do less and less afterwards. This is a problem because now, again, Kyogre is another losing matchup for Gardevoir, and you can see why. Just doesn't have the bulk, so we concede the match. So still taking that 4-1, displaying all of Gardevoir's ups and downs here. Getting the Ralts for a reward as well. So getting more Ralts candy here, but we're straight out of balls this time. We're not straight out of TMs, we're straight out of balls. I'll hop into the next set of battles here. Got another 4-1 coming your way. So our first match will be up against a Master League Skeletor. It's very nice. So we'll have to safe swap into Gyarados, and they retreat with a little bit of energy. So this is another Pokemon Zygarde that Gyarados can beat. So these Dragon Tails are adding up on the Zygarde, but Zygarde will be hitting back with neutral for the crunch. They can also get a debuff, so we're trying to get a crunch and an Aqua Tail off here. Could have gone double Aqua Tail, but hope for that debuff. Getting a shield from the Zygarde. Not able to get that Aqua Tail off, but at least we got a shield. Now we can safely come back in with Gardevoir. Now Gardevoir will be taking neutral from these crunches as well, but they actually go Outrage. Try to snipe with the Shadow Ball, and we catch on Swampert. So more energy that the opponent didn't need to expend. We will be outpacing them to these Hydro Cannons, so we will be seeing a shield from the Skeletor. I think we outpace to the next one, so we will have to shield this Disarming Voice. But the opponent actually goes Crunch. We're going to overfarm as much as we dare because there's still a third Pokemon in the back, and get rid of the Skeletor. We're not going to be able to get rid of this Zygarde. Zygarde's very bulky. We have to see what's in the back, and it's a Mamoswine. It's a good thing that we overfarmed because this Hydro Cannon will not be taking care of the Mamoswine, but we still got Gardevoir and a shield. Safely shield this Avalanche up and farm down. So Gardevoir taking the first game. Now we can do some more science. See this part Dragon Steel type neutral charms coming through, but they retreat into Mewtwo. And I try to catch a Psy Strike on Gyarados and fail. But this opponent actually goes Shadow Ball. So again, more energy the opponent didn't need to expend. So I 100% will shield the Psy Strike up. But they actually go Psychic. So twists around every corner here. Leaving with a crunch here. Able to get hopefully a debuff on the Dialga. And we're able to get 2 moves off here. So not even a shield from the Dialga. They knew it was a tail coming through, but we're able to get a lot of chip damage off here. This is important because we can now come in with Gardevoir, and because they haven't used a shield yet, make them use one here and simultaneously swap into Ho-Oh. So this is good that we've got Swampert in the back here. They can't store back-to-back Brave Birds, so we have to throw these Hydro Cannons as soon as we get to them. But Hydro Cannon will not be taking out Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is still pretty bulky. So we will be able to shield this one up. They need 2 more Incinerates, but we outpace, and Swampert will be taking care of the Ho-Oh. So that Dialga in the back comes to throw, but they only made it to an Iron Head. We resist that, and Swampert going off, taking out legendaries, even Origins with Hydro Cannon, taking that game. So non-legendaries up against the Dragonite here. We've got Swampert in the back, so hard countered on the lead and hard countered on the swap. So again, 4 or 5 Hydro Cannons will probably add up after a while, but these Dragon Tails are just absolutely tearing through Swampert here. So they're going to go ahead and fire off this first Hydro Cannon, second one coming through, but it's actually a Sludge Wave. We survived that and farmed down. We have a Crunch ready to go, hoping for another debuff and some neutral damage onto the Dragonite, and we get that too. So this game going our way today. Let's see what happens, and we're countered in the back as well. So we're just eating this opponent for breakfast here. Swampert, another hard counter to Metagross, getting that shield, and we still have 2 shields ready to go. So that Earthquake will not be KOing. They need 2 moves for us, as we need 2 more moves for them. So I absolutely will be shielding this up. Just going to be the Meteor Mash, and the opponent surrenders. So again, very well made team. GG's my opponent into a Xerneas here. So again, Xerneas has Geomancy, which charges pretty quickly. Gardevoir not able to take that Moonblast. I think the opponent lagged for a bit, and I'm going to throw this Triple Axel, try to boost the charm damage. I think I will be shielding this next move up, as these Geomancies are not doing very much damage to us. And we're able to farm down and take Switch. So Gardevoir actually winning the ones with Xerneas there. We've got an extremely hard counter for Groudon coming up with Gyarados. So again, unless this is Solar Beam, we've got this opponent right where we need them. And again, Giratina comes in. So we're able to throw that super effective Crunch and come in with Swampert. And I don't care if this is a losing match for Swampert, because Swampert is just here to expend some energy for the opponent. Getting a shield, and we're able to probably farm down with Gyarados here. Again, they need 2 moves for us. Shadow Ball not doing the trick. Swampert going off on legendaries here. Just chipping away with the Hydro Cannon, but we get farmed down, and all we have to do is shield up a Shadow Ball here. They could bait, but they don't, and full send, and we're able to farm down. The opponent concedes the match. Another opponent not having a good day up against this team. So this probably has to be the loss here. So same plan as before, count to 5 and catch the Surf on Gyarados. Luckily this time the opponent does throw the Surf, and they come in with Dialga as expected. So these Dragon Tails again will be neutral because of part Dragon Steel type, and we're able to get that Crunch through. So we're not going to be able to survive or get to a next move here. So we're just going to come back in with Gardevoir and farm down. Hopefully they don't make a move. But they do, unfortunately. So we will have to shield this Iron Head up. I'm not too sure about what's in the back, because that Kyogre, I don't think we can survive 5 more waterfalls anymore. So just throw a move for the shield and try to get as much charm damage off as possible. Now it's in a health position that Swampert can deal with here. We will have to eat Surf because they built up a ton of energy, but it does not matter because Dragon Tail Garchomp comes in to ruin our day. So even with the Sand Tomb here, it didn't matter if we shield. It would have been in a much better position with Mudshot, but unfortunately, this one will be our loss. So again, not too bad of a run. Getting another Wooloo because I know you guys love watching that. I know I'm still working on that Ultra League double, but throwing that in there just for the lulz. Gardevoir in the Master League. Not the best choice of fairy, but it's definitely not the worst. Still able to get the job done, having a high attack stat, but that is the essence of a glass cannon. It can deal a hit, but it cannot take one in return. However, it is still a charmer, so it will still have at least some relevance in the meta. If you're enjoying the content, leave a comment and tell me what you think. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn notifications on. It really helps me out. Keeps me in the algorithm, and it lets you know when I post, because there will be much more Pokemon Go content to come. But that's all I've got for today, guys. Thank you again, everyone, so much for watching. I've been ArborAndy. Keep your sticks on the ice, and I'll see you buds in the next one.